largest and arguably most unusual BMX and mountain bike dirt event on the African continent took place in Hout Bay recently. It's called the Monster Night Harvest. So how did it all start?
Cool, so Night Harvest is just a BMX and mountain bike dirt jump event. It started with just a couple of friends building some trails in my friend John T's backyard, and now it's progressed to one of the biggest dirt comps in the world actually. We have some of the best riders coming from all around the world to compete in this event, and yeah, this is our 8th one now.
Each year the event has got bigger and better, attracting some of the world's best riders and thousands of spectators. Justin tells us about the changes and improvements made to the venue and the jumps this year.
Well, we managed to neaten everything up around the trails, and obviously every year we just make the jumps a little bit better. We just tweak them and make them good. So yeah, this year is definitely running the best it has in a long time.
Building jumps, berms and step-ups requires a large amount of sand and of course water to hold it all together. The water crisis that has affected the Western Cape recently made the build a little more challenging for Justin and his team, but he had a solution.
We've had to struggle to get water, so luckily we got a 2,500 litre Bowser, which we've just been getting non-potable water and using that to build the trails. So it's a lot easier when it rains and we are actually able to work with the dirt, otherwise it's super dry and nothing sticks together. But yeah, we have been lucky to actually get a Bowser, and now we can make the trails look nice.
The Monster Energy Night Harvest has developed a reputation as one of the must-do events in the world of free riding. And once again, some of the very best in the world made the trip to the southern tip of South Africa.
In our 8th year now, it's quite a world-renowned event. People come from all over the world, from the USA, UK, Canada. We've got some guys from Czech Republic. And yeah, it's blown up from starting off with just a couple friends riding and building in the backyard now to one of the biggest dirt events in the world.
These riders are at the cutting edge of the sport and constantly pushing themselves to the limit as they try and outdo one another. So what were some of the tricks and jumps they performed?
A lot of backflips, backflip variations, backflip no-handers, backflip tail whips, 360s, 720s, a lot of bar spins added in there, and yeah, just some crazy stuff. Hopefully you see some double backflips even, which have been done on these trails.
Watching the action live is an absolute thrill for the spectators, young and old. Unlike many international events of this nature, the Monster Night Harvest allowed fans to get very close to the jumps and riders.
Well, we have a fence line about a metre and a half away from the line, so we do distance them a little bit, just for safety obviously, because bikes go flying and it is quite a dangerous sport, but yeah, they get to see within a metre of the action.
There is very definitely an element of risk involved, as Justin alluded to. Get a jump wrong and the riders will feel the pain, or worse, break a bone or two. They're well aware of the risks, but this does not stop the riders from pushing their limits and doing some seriously crazy things.
Oh yeah, everyone kind of throws down at their own level that they feel comfortable with, but we've got the best athletes in the world. They are professional and they know their limits, but we'll definitely see some crazy stuff nonetheless.
A few weeks after taking part in the Monster Darkfest in Stellenbosch, South African downhill champion Theo was back mixing it up with more of the world's best at the Monster Night Harvest in Hout Bay.
I'm usually a downhill racer, but I try to do anything with 2 wheels, so these are like some dirt jumps. It's a bit different to downhill racing, basically more kind of trick style stuff and that, but like it's 2 wheels, so I thought I'd give my hand at it, and yeah, it's lots of fun.
Having experienced the thrill of the huge jumps at Darkfest and now taking on the challenge of the Night Harvest, Theo was in a great position to tell us what the differences were between the two events.
Finally, when I looked at the photos of this, I was like, oh my God, if I crash, I'm probably not going to end up in a wheelchair like Darkfest. So this is like a bit more of a relief, but these are just way more technical. Darkfest is more like long and low, fast jumps. These jumps are very small, but you gain all your speed from the landing and like pumping the landing to get speed. So it's quite a technical form of riding. Like not many people can do these jumps in the whole of the Western Cape. So yeah, it's a little less ballsy than Darkfest, but quite technical, and once you get it, it's lots of fun. So yeah, I'm stoked to be riding it.
It's a rare thing for a local boy to be exposed to this type of competition, and Theo was well aware of just how fortunate he was to have had the opportunity to take part in two world-class events literally in his own backyard.
This and Darkfest, I mean, hate to shout it out, but like, so thank you to like Monster for bringing in these events to South Africa. All the athletes love coming to Cape Town because it is just like an awesome city to be a tourist in. So yeah, like they love coming to Cape Town, so it's always good to have an adventure. They love coming down, and there's a really good scene here of riders, of like kind of almost top-level riders that are kind of making those things happen in South Africa. So for me as a rider coming up in this country, it's like, oh man, it's been a dream come true to have these events in my hometown.
The last few months have been a huge boost to Theo as he prepares for a year of racing overseas. He has learned so much from the international riders and is well aware of his position among them.
I'm not really a guy to be like, oh no, I'm like intimidated or anything. Like, I know I'm not going to beat those guys, so like I'm just stoked to be able to hear you. Probably I'll do a couple runs, show the crowd, and then I'll hit the VIP 10% beers and then just watch all those guys shred super hard. So yeah, so I mean, if you don't really know mountain biking, there's an insane rider list here. There's like the amount of crazy X Games BMX riders here is insane, and the crowd will see some crazy, crazy tricks going down tonight.
The track at the Monster Night Harvest in Hart Bay had two specific elements to it, with the stakes getting higher and higher as the night wore on, as Theo tells us.
So this is the kind of competition line that's got like a whole bunch of jumps and quite a variation of jumps that we'll probably be riding the whole night, and then near the end of the night we'll switch over to, that's the trick jump line. So it's basically just a big setup jump into one big jump. So that's where you'll see the craziest tricks being thrown down at the end of the night. Whoever's survived this line the longest, then they can really bin themselves on that one.
Events like Darkfest and Night Harvest are heavily dependent on the weather for producing spectacular shows. While rain in the Cape summer is not a factor, the wind certainly is. And while it does increase the risk for the riders, it's not something they're unfamiliar with.
So for sure, that is one thing with mountain bike events in Cape Town. It's always such a balls up to kind of organize. But yeah, so the wind really affects you. In an ideal world, you do it when there was no wind. But if you're going to organize an event, you're going to have to deal with this. We live in Cape Town, so yeah, Everyone who's good here knows how to ride and wind. They've all been doing it for many years, so they know exactly how the protocol goes, and they're all good at riding in the wind. So rain or shine, there'll always be a show.
Canadian Macduff is a man who knows only too well what can and often does go wrong. He is a superstar in the sport of mountain biking and sees it as an ideal way to find focus in life.
To me, I love riding bicycles, and I think it's a great sport for anyone that really needs a focus. For me, mountain bikes saved my life, so mountain bikes are the greatest. Ride mountain bikes.
Matt missed out on Night Harvest for the last 2 years for various reasons, including injury after a huge crash on the garden route. The 28-year-old from Ontario was excited to be back at Night Harvest once more.
So this is my third year back here at the Night Harvest. I'm super excited to be back. I missed it for the last 2 years, but it feels great to be back here again. The jumps are even better than last time I was here, and yeah, I'm feeling stronger and healthier and better on the bike, so I'm feeling really good about being here this year.
While the wind did compromise some of the jumping, Matt was more than happy to take part in the Monster Night Harvest, particularly as a windy Cape Town summer's evening was a lot more comfortable than the weather in his hometown of Claremont, Ontario.
For me personally, I mean, like, Cape Town is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and right now it's really cold where I live. It's like -30 and full of snow. So to be able to hop on a plane and come down here and ride jumps is what it's all about, man. I'll take it.
The Monster Night Harvest brought Hart Bay alive and gave locals an insight into what it takes to reach the very top in freeride mountain biking. Courage, focus, and big air.